Well, to anyone wondering whether or not the end of the season, the good run of form, whether that was up to Maresca or the players, I think today we got our answer. Maresca could not coach his way out of a paper bag. He is the biggest dunce in the league by far. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Blues and Stripes. So, obviously, very, very frustrating loss today, and it honestly just brings back all the frustrations that I've had with Maresca over the past several months. Like, a lot of that went away by the end of the season. I was still seeing the issues, but we were getting wins. We were playing well enough to where I was willing to overlook the problems. Today, because of him, we lost. And people, I know, point the finger at the guy who got sent off because it's Jackson. But the fact of the matter is, the game was dead well before that red card because Maresca's an idiot, because he didn't set us up well. We lucked a goal in the first half, and then the second half looked exactly like a lot of the matches that we lost in the second half of the season. The other team just wanted it more. They outplayed us. They got the goals to turn it back around. It's exactly the same formula we saw at the Fulham match that started our bad run. First of all, though, we will talk about probably the most frustrating thing that we cannot control. The ref today was a joke. Like, I've seen some one-sided matches before. I mean, obviously we have Anthony Taylor in the Premier League, so we see it all the time with him. This has got to be one of the most one-sided matches I think I've ever seen called in my life. Because even looking at the red card, like, yeah, it's probably a red card. Studs are high up on the calf. That's fine. I'm okay with it. But the speed with which that red card was out of his pocket, like, I don't even think Jackson fully touched him. The red card was already coming out. He was so ready to send off one of our players. Caicedo, simple foul on Jorginho in the first half. Yellow card, almost instantly. So many reactions from their players were getting fouls. And then our players were getting pulled down in the box, like Fernandez. No foul. Play on. Yeah, sure, he was hugging you all the way into the box. No foul. Play on. It was ridiculous. And funny enough, it actually calmed down after halftime. So I don't know if somebody got in his ear. It was maybe like, hey, you're kind of leaning a little one way here. There's a lot of these calls you're making that aren't correct. And they're all going against one team. And then, of course, when the red card happens, that's when things go right back, resume normal service. Most everything's against us. We only get a couple. And there was even a challenge from one guy, basically kicks Cucurella in the chest near the end of the game. Just a foul. It's okay. You can kick players in the chest. That's not a yellow card. It really did feel like they would have to pull out a knife and start stabbing our players before they would get any sort of punishment. That's how one-sided it felt. But we can't control that. We have to play through it. And that's where Maresca has a lot to answer for today. Because once again, his lineup makes no damn sense. You cannot explain this lineup to me and say, okay, yeah, that's what he was thinking. Because what he's thinking is on the same level as a toddler. Because there's no thought process there. You can't look at this lineup and go, that's a genius move. It's stupid. We've got James in the midfield again. We've seen already he's not a midfielder. What is he doing there? Because here's the thing. I even said in the preview, I don't expect James to start at right back. I expected it to be Gusto. Even though Gusto's not been good, even though it should be Achampong probably, because he deserves a chance. Gusto has had his chance and has failed multiple times. It should be Achampong, but it'll probably be Gusto. I expect James to get the rest here. He doesn't rest James. He still plays Gusto at right back. And here's why I have a problem with this. Because not only are you playing Gusto, and I'll talk about Gusto in a minute, because oh my god, you want to talk about who threw away the match on the field? But the thing is, you've got all these midfielders. You've got Caicedo, you've got Fernandez, you've got Lavia, you brought in Asugo, you brought Santos back from loan. 5 midfielders, and you're still moving your right back into the midfield. That is stupidity on the highest level, especially because we know James is not as good in there. And yet he's still doing this. And on top of that, now you've played both of your starting right backs. Like, I know technically Achampong is the third one. So saying that he's played his only 2 right backs and not given either of them a rest isn't quite correct. Because you do still have the third one in Achampong, if he's going to play him. Because it feels like he doesn't want to play anybody outside of the players that we had this season, and then maybe Delap. That's about it. Even when the game plan is just absolutely getting cooked, the entire match, they were all over us. We continued to play the same way. And it was the worst of Maresca ball. Even asking Sanchez to start making passes as well. Even putting Sanchez on the ball about 25% of the time. That's how bad it was. Because at least at the end of the season, we finally just sort of realized, okay, he can't play with his feet, so let's just have him get it out first time. No, not in this match. In this match, it was, hey, Sanchez, don't kick it long. You better try to play with your feet first. He still did a couple of times. But even then, it was never first time just get it out. That was not the message today. And it hurt us time and time again. They were all over us. And we continued to do the same thing like a bunch of dumbasses. Because our dumbass coach probably said, hey, we need to get back to what I want to do. Even if it's not working, it's what I want to do, and I'd rather lose that way than win any other way. That's how I want to do it. He needs to be gone. This is exactly the type of match that tells me he needs to be gone because he is not learning his damn lesson. And people can hate the fact that I'm jumping on the manager out train because people hate whenever that's the thing. Oh, you need to trust the manager more. You need to give him more time. I'm sorry, I'm watching this match. I'm not seeing any reason to trust him. If he can't learn from his mistakes, we should not be trusting him as a manager. End of story. But let's focus on the individuals because they also have some blame to take today as well. Sanchez, on the ball again, that's where his biggest problems are. I can't really say any of the 3 goals were his fault. Maybe he could have done a bit better on the second one, I think it was. Maybe it was the first one, I don't know. But he made some good saves to keep us in the match at first. You can't do much about ball to the back post and nobody's marking either player. But looking at defense, we will start with Gusto, and I'm going to try not to rant and ramble too much about this, but my God, why is he still here? Why is he on the pitch? After the first half, where he was ineffective, wasn't giving us much, defensively wasn't that great, at halftime, need to make a change. Either Achimpong comes on for him, or we bring on Lavia, move James back to right back. We cannot keep Gusto back there. And he stays on. And then 15 minutes later, cross to the back post, completely unaware of the man behind him. His man heads it right across the goal to wide open player, goal. Easy goal. And this is after, by the way, ball had come across, and he just goes racing across. All it takes is a simple little touch from the attacker, and he just keeps going. He has no sense of awareness of what he's doing. He just flies right past him. And now the guy has an easy chance right at the top of the box. So he's already made a few mistakes now that have led to good chances and then a goal. A couple minutes later, after the subs have been made, James has been brought off. Lavi is on. Gusto's still on. Cross to the back post from a corner. Gusto again. Beat in the air, off a header. Back to the back post. Goal. Same exact damn goal. I will call out the defense for not tracking the runner at the back post. I don't remember who it was on either goal. I think one was Colwill, which he's also very non-aware of what's behind him most times. The other time, I don't remember. It might have been Caicedo, might have been back there at that point, but he's just having to fill in a role because the formation is so awful today. He's having to play defense half the time. But for Gusto, this is the exact same thing twice. You got beat in the air twice to set up the assist for the goal. When are you going to at least do something to put him off? Or either that or get somebody else over there. For Maresca, why are you leaving him on? If he can't handle that, get him off the pitch. But that's 2 goals you set up from your own stupidity. So for me, this is probably the end of Gusto. It won't be because no teams are going to want to come get him after this. But in reality, this was probably the most likely he was to get a chance. Because the way Maresca was using him today actually suited him a bit better. Because with Palmer out on the right, he's going to tend to drift in. Gusto was supposed to be making those overlapping runs on the right side, and he did sometimes. But even when he didn't look good on the ball. He didn't produce anything. So this was a lot more what he wants to do, get up and down the line as a wingback. And he wasn't doing it effectively. And then defensively, he got beat way too easily for the first 2 goals. So why is he out here? Why is he still playing? Why is Achimpong not getting a chance? So many questions. Chalobah and Colwill, neither of them were phenomenal today. I can't really blame them. I think Colwill should have done a bit better for the third one. Chalobah, there was a chance that was set up because he and James, lack of communication there. So there definitely is an issue with the organization of our back line. I mean, again, we're not going to see that because the transfer team's not going to go get an experienced center back. So we're just going to have to deal with the fact that there's going to be youth and inexperience for the next couple years until they start to mature a bit. But overall, I don't think they were awful today. I just don't think they were good enough. Cucurella on the left side, for the most part, looked okay, but that third goal is really where I think Cucurella still is weak. It's the quick little interchange. It's the wings that are clever enough to know how to flick it around him, because he still just goes barreling in. And as long as you're clever enough to just flick it around him, let him run past you, you can get past him easily. James wasn't terrible, but he's still not a midfielder, and it showed. Defensively, position-wise, he was awful. He was all over the place. Several times when our midfield was wide open because he's nowhere to be seen, he's for some reason drifted up the pitch and is way out of position when we lose the ball. So there's just a lot about his game that it's not really his fault. It's Maresca for playing him out of position. Caicedo, I thought, did as much as he could by himself in there, because really he was the only one until Lavia came on that was working in the midfield to try to win the ball back, to try to break up how many counterattacking chances that they had. Today was just a good example of He's a great player. He cannot do it all on his own. He needs help in there, and that's why you need a Lavia. That's why you need maybe an Asugo, maybe a Santos. Why are we not seeing them given a chance? And then Fernandez, nothing really from him today. This was the type of game where he's just not effective because there's so much pace in there, he's not able to keep up with it. Palmer on the right side, I don't think today was a game for him. I think he and Delap, there's a chance for them to form a connection, but I don't think it's going to happen from him coming off the right. Because I think that's where Delap wants to make his runs. He wants to get out to the right side, and then Palmer can find him out there and take up the space in the middle. But instead, Palmer's already out on the right, and so now Delap is making the round. It feels like it's not really clicking whenever Palmer's out there. And I don't understand, after he's refused to play Palmer out on the wing for all of last season, I don't understand why today he just decides, you know what, let's give it a shot. It feels weird, and especially against a different type of team too. Like, we're playing a team from South America. They're not going to play the same as most European teams would. So to try this against a different type of team in a different type of environment, it just feels like a weird time to experiment with Palmer now after you refused to all last season. Neto on the left side, probably the only player that can hold his head high after his performance today, because he actually worked really hard. Second half, it did trail off a bit. His chances trailed off. He's still working hard, still giving it everything he could. Just the team effort overall wasn't good enough, unfortunately. So he was really let down by the people around him. But that first half performance, the only player that was really doing much of anything outside of maybe Caicedo was him. Now, people can complain about his lack of goal production last season. Today was a great game to show he's still got plenty in his locker. Delap up top, it's okay. Had some good, decent moments here and there. But overall, I didn't think it was an incredible performance. So I think it did show that he's still not quite to the top level yet. And this is why a lot of people are saying we need a top level striker who's already ready made. I still think if he and Jackson can push each other, that would really help. But on to Jackson. Obviously, people are going to look at the red card. Same as the Newcastle match. So many people wanted him gone after that red card. This is another one where I do think it's unlucky. This one I do put a little bit more blame on him, though, because for the Newcastle one, I still say that wasn't a red card. I still say it wasn't an elbow. I don't know why everybody agreed it was an elbow. Apparently, I'm the only one in the world that saw it was his forearm. Don't know why. This one is definitely more of a red card for me. And while I still don't think this one was intentional, I don't think he went in thinking I'm about to cleat him in the back of the calf. I do think it looked like one of those situations he's trying to stick his leg in front of the oncoming defender and block off the ball. But once you see that he's already poked the ball away, you can't carry through. And I think that's where he does need to be smarter. See that, all right, he's already won it, and try to pull his foot out if he can. But unfortunately, because he continued on through it, he didn't pull out. He didn't try to stop himself at all. I do think that's why it makes it worthy of a red card. So that's where I do think that naivete of youth, most of our players still have, to be perfectly honest. I think that showed in that today. I'm still not going to say that he deserves to be gone or anything after that, because I still see a lot of the value he brings to the team, but it is disappointing that he wasn't smart enough to pull out of that challenge, because now we don't have him for probably the rest of our tournament, more than likely. Lavia also came on with Jackson, and he should have started from what I saw today. Feel like he would have helped us a lot more than Fernandez or James were in there. Madueke came on, as well as Guiu. I mean, neither of them really provided much. Madueke tried to make something happen. I still just don't see enough from him, especially when we're down to 10 men and the other team is packing it in. You know he's not going to get anything done there. And Guiu, I didn't see anything from him. Now, admittedly, for the final, I would say 10, 15 minutes, I wasn't fully watching. I was trying to prepare because I'm in a new space right now, so I had to set up this little makeshift recording studio here. So I wasn't fully watching. I was kind of in and out, catching glimpses. So maybe Guiu did some stuff that I just didn't see. But from what I did see when he was slightly involved, I wasn't seeing much from him. And granted, this is his first game since returning from injury, so we'll give him that benefit. But I mean, looking at it, I do feel confident going into the last game that we should be winning that one. If we don't, then Maresca's really going to have to answer some questions. But I think what's disappointing is this was a good test for us. Flamengo are a good side, and this was a good chance to go up against a good side in this competition early on in this group stage and have kind of a good battle here. And Maresca just looked at it and said, you know what? No, let's change everything now for this one match. Let's put James back in the midfield. Let's bring Gusto into the team to start. Let's put Palmer out on the wing. I don't understand why he did all of this. And on top of that, his changes came too late. It should have happened at halftime. He should have had a couple of changes, one being Gusto at halftime. And instead he waits, and then they score. And all I could think is, oh, now you're making a change. It's too late. They now have the momentum. They've had the momentum since the beginning of the match. They just haven't had the luck of scoring the goal. Now that they got the goal, I could easily see the game turning, and then them going on to win it. And that's exactly what happened. So ultimately, the Maresca out bandwagon should be returning full force. I don't think it will because, again, I think people are willing to give him time after the Champions League qualification and the Conference League trophy. But personally, I think this was a great game to show he is not a good enough manager to take us to the top. I said it before. I said it in my review of the last season. This game proved my point because so much of the issues today land on him and his bad decisions. So now we'll look ahead to the final match against the Tunisian side. I'm assuming now we won't see as much rotation as we would have before. But in my opinion, if you play Gusto again after this performance, I don't think you deserve to be manager ever again. There's no way you can look at Gusto's performance today and say, yeah, we're going to give you another chance. He doesn't deserve another chance. He's had an awful season, and now he cost us a game. Stop playing him. But with all that being said, those were my thoughts on the game today. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, previews, and talks. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. And I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.